There was one court case, and people often misinterpret this, and they say this is a synopsis of the court case that Stefan won, where he asked if anybody could prove that a measles virus existed in the German courts of law, and this guy David Bardens took him up, and he told Stefan to pay him €1,000, and Stefan refused because he said, you haven't proven that this thing exists. And so he showed him these 6 papers, and then Stefan said, this does not provide adequate evidence. And then, interestingly, if you go to the minutes of the court proceedings, page 7, first paragraph, there is the testimony of this guy who's the head of the Department of Medical Microbiology. You see, people often will say, well, the only reason he won this was a technicality because he said you had to show me one paper that shows the measles virus exists, and Bardens had to show 6, none of which show that it actually exists. And so that was the technicality that he won on. But that's not true, because this guy was one of the appointed experts at the trial, stated that even though the existence of measles could be concluded from the summary of the 6 papers submitted by Dr. Bardens, none of the authors had conducted any control experiments in accordance with internationally defined rules and principles of good scientific practice. This professor considered this lack of control experiments explicitly as a methodological weakness, which is code for crappy studies of these publications, which are, after all, the relevant studies on the subject. Thus, at this point, a publication about the existence of the measles virus that stands the test of good science has yet to be delivered. And they also at the trial noted that the Robert Koch Institute, the highest Germany authority in the field of infectious disease, has failed to perform tests for the alleged measles virus and to publish these. They said they made internal studies, however, refused to hand over the results. And all this is basically meaning that there is no scientific evidence because nobody did proper scientific studies to show that the measles virus even exists, let alone could be characterized, let alone could be causing any disease. So that is the official ruling of the court, which is the only time we've actually had such a ruling, which means at this point, nobody has had to pay anybody who's claiming these awards. There's another one with, I think, a guy named Eckert giving 1.5 million euros to for anybody who proves SARS-CoV-2 exists, and nobody is able to claim that. Maybe Mies, you could try to do that and tell them about you knew somebody who got COVID and they got sick and then their wife got sick, and that should prove it as far as you're concerned. So I think you should submit that and see if you can get the 1.5 million euro claim, and hopefully that would help in your retirement.